Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Monday, September 21st, 2020, and we are again in the final hour of the trading day. The final of the hour of the trading day, and in particularly the last few minutes, are my favorite time to make my buying and selling decisions for the majority of my swing trades. During the day, you have the algorithms, you have the day traders, they are in control of the price. At the end of the day, the large financial institutions come in, they're dealing with the most money. That money can move the market around, and they take control of the price away from the day traders and algorithms and steer it to what they think is the most valid price of the day, and those are the prices that I like to make my buying and selling decisions from. So thank you all for coming today. I always appreciate it. I always look forward to seeing everyone. I think we have such a great group. Thank you for all your contributions, everyone, and for spending your time here, investing your time here. I hope it is helping with your trading and your investing with your time investment. So wow, big day. The Dow is down 724 points, down 2.62%. So the selling continues. We were down over 900 points on the Dow. The NASDAQ is down 127 points, down 1.18. So not down quite as much as the Dow, and the S&P is down 70.2 points, down 2.12%. So the NASDAQ is down today, but is definitely getting the better of it. So listen, this is the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. We're going to get that out of the way. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, and how I'm going to manage them going forward, either to the upside or to the downside. After that, I've had some day trades today, pretty good ones I might add, and I'm going to share those with you. After that, we're going to go through the watch list, and we're going to take a look and see how your positions are doing. After that, we're going to switch gears, talk a little bit about trader psychology, get away from charts and indicators, and concentrate on really what the most important skill in trading is, and that is being able to follow your plan. That's pretty much it. You have to learn how to identify support, resistance levels, indicators, all of that, so that you can put together a plan. But after you've put together the plan, the real key and the real skill is in following it. After that, I have gone down through my watch list, and I have taken a look at some potential entries. I've also gone down through the watch list, the results of Kamal's scanner. And I do have 3 requirements whenever I'm looking to enter a trade. First requirement, need to look for a confluence or combination of indicators lining up ideally on multiple time frames. I look at each indicator as a group of buyers, and you'll put yourself in the best position to have a profitable trade if you're in the company with as many other buyers as possible. Requirement number 2, need to make sure I have a good risk to reward ratio. I may have a really good setup, but the risk to reward ratio may not make sense. So that also has to be a valid risk to reward. 2 to 1 is my minimum based upon valid support below me and based upon valid and likely resistance above me. And then step number 3, a day like today really makes this point, but you don't want to have too many correlated positions in any one industry, because if that industry gets hit on a day like today, then instead of losing on one position, you might be losing on 3 or 4 or 5 if you're that heavily invested in one industry. So my advice is to pick different industries and even get outside of equities such as bonds and gold and silver, possibly the dollar, so that you have even more diversification. So we're going to go down through that watch list, and we're going to narrow it down. And if there's anything that makes sense and qualifies on all 3 requirements, I will go ahead, place the trade at the end of the day. Then after the market closes, if anybody has any questions, need any clarification, please let me know. I'm happy to answer or clarify any questions that you have. If there's any stock symbols that you'd like me to look at before the market closes, I'm happy to do that. Put it in the chat, put an emoji or an asterisk by it so that I know it's time sensitive, and I'll do my best to get to it before the close of the market. And then after the market closes, if you have any new entries or exits for me to put up an update up on the board, if you could please wait till the end of the day so that the market's closed and I'm done teaching and I'm done trading and the pressure's off, and then I'll make sure that we spend all the time we need to make sure we get your positions correct. All right, so that's the plan for today, everybody. Hang tight. I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, well, let's take a look and see who's here today. Johan is here. Hey, Johan. Good chatting with you earlier. Johan and Kamal and I, we chat on Skype and kind of share trade ideas and show each other our trades. And so appreciate Johan and Kamal for that. Good seeing you, my friend. Evan is here. Good afternoon, Evan. Good to see you, my friend. Bob is here. Hello, traders. Hello, Bob. Dan is also here. Hello, Greg and everyone. Hello, Dan. William, good day to all. Thank you, Mr. William Green. I appreciate that. Hey, Kamal. Kamal says, hey, Greg and gang. Good to see you, buddy, and nice chatting with you today. Thanks for the results of your scanner. Steve says, I was stopped out of AGQ today on the open as my max loss was hit. It was a 9.5. It could have been a lot worse. I agree. I was in the same boat there, Steve, on AGQ, so we'll go over that. But Steve, thank you so much for coming by. Always an honor and a privilege to have the great Steve Burns here. And, you know, I do this every day, but I do it not because I'm any part of Steve Burns' business or advertising or anything like that, but just because I know it's a great site. So I highly recommend New Trader U. That's Steve's website. He has some great e-courses on there. He's authored so many great books. I've read almost all of them, and I highly recommend them. So if you get a chance, go to newtraderu.com and check it out. It'd be worth your while. Miko25 is here. Hey, buddy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, sir. Good afternoon, Greg and all. Steve says, that was my total loss from entry. AGQ is down 18%. My loss was from entry. It was down 6.5 when I sold it. Yep. Brian is here. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Hello, everyone. Hey, Greg, apologize for not being clear Friday. I bought Netflix Friday, sold it today for a profit. By the way, it's down, but I missed the Roku train. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I was lucky to be on that Roku train today, half position, but better than nothing, right? David is here. Hi, David. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope the shoulder's well. Frank is here. Hey, Frank. Good to see you. Always appreciate you being here. Marcus. Hey, Marcus. What's going on? Good to see you. Marcus is a student of mine, and we just had our last lesson on Friday. I think it was Friday night. So good seeing you, Marcus. Hope you had a good weekend. Glenn, hey Greg, still sitting on the sidelines, expecting a low in the next 15 trading days. That sounds like a pretty safe bet. Yeah, we're in a weird position right here. We're low, but are we low enough? It's a tough one. Hey, Frank has a poem for us. Let's see what Frank has to say. What's so bad about a stock that only reaches first base? You've made money in any case. A double, a triple, we all want more, but trading takes patience if you're gonna score. Wow, good stuff. Here, let me paste that over here. And let's read it again because it's so good. What's so bad about a stock that only reaches first base? You've made money in any case. A double, a triple, we all want more, but trading takes patience if you're gonna score. Very, very true, Frank. Remember the equation for profitable trading. Big wins, small wins, break-even trades, small losses, they all are allowed. You just have to stay away from the big losses. And, you know, that reminds me, Johan, we were looking at Apple today. He took a short on Apple. He didn't make a lot, but, he got to first base, which is important, and gave him some experience in taking some intraday trades. So thank you, Frank. Bam Mike Foxtrot. Afternoon, guys. Hey, Bam. Or I'll just call you Mike. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. If there's anything I can help you with, let me know. Sarge 375. Hey, Greg and group. Hey, Jesse. Good to see you, my friend. Jesse's also a former student of mine, and I definitely consider him a friend. Good to see you. Really good to see you. Chris says, I told people to buy Apple Friday at $6.80, and it's up $1 now. LOL. $6.80 or $106.80 maybe. And Chris is here. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, Chris. Good to see you. Okay, let me take a look and see what's happening over here. All right, let's get to it. We have a lot to get through today. All right, well, Yas and I took Eli Lilly back on 9/17. I bought it here at 152.36. We had a 520 crossover. We had a nice higher low V1. Next day did go up. I hit a profit target. Fortunately, now I kind of wish it would have closed below the 50 because I would have sold half, but it didn't. Nonetheless, down 2.88% today, is below halfway the washout bar, which is my stop. So I will be selling this at the close of the market today, unless by some miracle it can close back above 151.09. But you know, that's how it goes. We've had a rough market. This has been a tough 3 weeks. So sometimes it's not about how much money you make, but it's about how much money you don't lose. So I will be getting out of Eli Lilly today for a loss. Okay, another stinker. Johan and I bought Johnson & Johnson on Friday. Nice false breakout to the downside with the V2. I bought it here at 149.52. This particular trade hit my emergency stop today, right about 143.50. My emergency stop is always the value of 2 ATRs below my entry. My entry was 149.52, so if you take off 624, it's right about there. I did get out and took the maximum loss that I was going to take. My maximum loss I take whenever it hits. I don't wait for the end of the day. I always want to know what my maximum loss is on a trade, and unfortunately, it was today. Zynga. Gary Yasquad and I bought Zynga back on the 17th of September. False breakout to the downside, under 30, over 30 with the V1. This is green today. I'm very happy to say. Bought this at 8.36. It was up Friday. I think I hit one profit target. I definitely hit one profit target today at 8.59. So it is up 1.3% today, and about 2.45% from entry. So, excuse me. You know, with the kind of market that we've had here today, anything green, I am very, very happy for that. We're at a 42.39 RSI. I'll be looking for a rejection of the 50 RSI. If it does, I will sell half my position. AGQ, well, this is a good teaching experience right here. Steve Burns and I did buy AGQ back here at 58.87 with the 520 crossover. This is a good long-term back-tested approach with an edge for trading AGQ, but it doesn't work every single time. The only saving grace is I do have a rule where that after I take the crossover, if the price closes below both the 5 and the 20 or whatever moving averages I'm using, if it closes below both of them, I exit half my position. So fortunately, on Friday, I did exit half of my position right here about 57.06, and today hit my emergency stop. I haven't hit two emergency stops in a long time, but it did hit my emergency stop at 51.10, but much better than where it was at the bottom and even now where it is at the close. But this is why when I take a crossover, if the price closes below both the moving averages, I get out of half. If it goes zooming back up, okay, I'm glad I still half. But if it goes crashing down like it did today, I sold half and only had to endure half of the loss. So dotted line here is 2 ATRs from my entry, but again, it was only on half the position. So that's why I like to implement that rule. Okay, Well, here's the rule the opposite way around. I did buy Roku back here at 168.52, moved up, hit a profit target. Friday, I took it with the 520 crossover. Here the price closes below both the 5 and the 20. Same rule, I did sell half. But on silver, I sold half and it went crashing down today. But on Roku, obviously I wish I had not sold half, but I'm still thrilled, very, very excited that I still have half the position because it is up 18% today. I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 profit targets today. I think that could be a record. I think that could be a record for me, 6 profit targets. I think I've done it before. We're at a 66.95 RSI. It ends up being a profitable trade, which I'm thrilled about. And I don't get 18% moves up very often. So in this case, I'm very, very glad I did. I'll just have to see where this ends up at the end of the day. We're getting close to a 70 RSI. I may just take this off. It could continue tomorrow. I'll just have to see how it goes. Intel. Okay, Intel. I did sell puts on Intel down to $45, expiring November 20th. When I sell puts, I like to see a confluence or combination of indicators of support on 3 different time frames. On the quarterly, I like that the 20 quarter moving average is here. I'm above it a little bit, but that does add some support. On the monthly, I have the 50-month moving average above as support. That should technically add some kind of support. On the weekly, I have the 200-week moving average as support. So I sold the 45s. So if right now it's 49, so as long as it stays above 45 by November 20th, I will be able to keep all of the premium. If not, I would be required to buy it here. And it looks like Bob and Gary also have Intel. Bob bought Intel at 49.22. It's at 49.60, so it's still up. And Gary did similar, but he sold credit spreads. He sold the 45.40 puts. I just sold the cash secured puts. So, but only down 28 cents today, so that's pretty good. SPY. All right. Oops, I do buy SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk. I sell it first thing the next morning. This is based upon a long-term backtested study from Liz Ann Saunders. She's at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. 2 different tests they did every day since 1993. First test, buy the SPY at the open, hold it through the day, sell it at the close. This approach done every day since 1993 returned a negative 13.9% return. However, the opposite, this is the one that I use, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight or hold it over the weekend, take that risk, sell it the first thing the next morning. Past performance is no guarantee of future result. It may never work again, but if I'm going to allocate money towards a trade, it's going to be something that has good back-tested results. Blue line, buy the close, sell the next morning. Orange line, buy the close, sell the same, buy the open, sell the same day close. Not even in the same ballpark. The buy the close, sell the next morning overtime has gone up, but there are significant drawdowns. So if you're considering using this approach, you have to realize you may get into a year or 2 drawdown that just really hammers you. But over time, it has gone up. So I consider this a long-term trade. If you're considering using this approach, use a very conservative position size, like a 5% position size maybe of your total capital. If you want to be more aggressive, maybe 10, or better yet, use the value of the 2 ATR divided into your max loss to help you come up with the correct position size. That being said, I did buy SPY on Friday at 330.65 and took a whooping overnight. Bought at 330.65, got out at 325.90. So, this is par for the course with this approach. Sometimes you get great gap ups, sometimes you get huge down moves. But again, I consider this trade a marathon, not a sprint, and I just rinse and repeat. I will be buying this again at the close of the market. Okay, let's take a look at some day trades. I did have a day trade on Apple. I've had a couple day trades on Apple. Or was it? No, it was just one, right? Yeah, it was just one. I was thinking about taking another one. All right, I did buy Apple here. We had a close below the value zone. We came into the value zone. We came back down. We rejected the -1 ATR. We had a nice bullish engulfing bar with the V1 higher low. MACD had just gone positive. I bought it at 105.70. 15 minutes later, it went above the 50 RSI and below the 50 RSI. So I got in I got in at 105.57. I sold half at 105.85. And then it continued up nicely. And then here we rejected the third ATR channel. I didn't like this bar. I sold the other at 107.11, and then we had a close below the previous day's low. I sold at 106. So one more time, bought at 105.57, got out of part at 105.85, got out of part at 106.80, got out of the other at 107.11. And then I had 2 trades on Exxon. I know I have not traded Exxon for a long time, but I was searching through and found a pretty good little setup here. We had a return to value. Wait a minute. I had one more before that, didn't I? Yes. Here we go. Here we had a double bottom with a bullish divergence. First low, deep red. Second low, no red. My trigger was this V2. I got in at 35.79. It moved up nicely. I had a close below the previous day's low. I got at 36.10. And then I got out of the second half here at 36.26 when it rejected the, it got near the third ATR channel, rejected this previous high. So got in at 35.79, half at 36.10, the other half at 36.26. And that was the right place to sell it. Then we had a return to value sideways motion. I took the trade here at 36.01. Here it moved up nicely, came back down, closed below the 50. I got out at 36.07, and then I got out of the other at 36.08. So not a big move, but a pretty low price stock, so there was quite a few shares involved. So all in all, pretty good. Look at Exxon go here. All right. And then lastly, I entered a new position today, a new put position on Amazon. I sold puts on Amazon expiring November 20th at 2,300. Right now it's 29.18, meaning that as long as the price stays above 2,300, I will be able to keep all the premium, which gives me just over 20% protection. The reason I picked the 2,300 price was because the 250-day on the daily, on the weekly has the 50-week moving average lines up right with the 2,300, and on the monthly, the 20 EMA lines up here. The 20 EMA, monthly EMA lines up at 23.30. And I am already in the money on that particular trade. All right, so here we go. All right, Frank has Apple. Frank bought Apple at 113. It is currently 108.60, but it is up today on a deep down day, so that is good. We did have a rejection of the third ATR channel. We did have a V1, so you know that's promising, although it is going to have to deal with that 50-day moving average above. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this one's down about $4.50 on the trade so far for Frank, but glad it came way off of its lows. PD, Kamal, look at this. I told you Kamal was back in action. Kamal bought PD at 24.90 on Friday. This is up 7.21%. Nice sideways motion, nice higher low V2 over the 200. What a great trade. Let's see, how high did that get today? Got about 49.03 on the RSI, Kamal. BRM. Kamal also bought BRM, BioMarin Pharmaceuticals at, on 9/16, he bought it at 75.58. It is 77.35. Down today, but still up on the trade. IBB, Steve Burns bought the 530 crossover on IBB, which is the NASDAQ ETF. He bought it at 136.64. It is currently 132.25. So this one is down today and down about 3% on the trade. Alibaba, Steve also bought Alibaba with the 520 crossover at 277.25. It is 272.47. Down on the trade, but it is slightly green today. Well, it's exactly unchanged, so could be worse. IAU, Frank bought IAU at 1865. It is down 2% today, 1823. FCFS, Bob bought FCFS at 58.10. Been in the money this entire trade, did come down today, test his entry point and bounce right off of it. So it is down 2% today, but he is still slightly up on the trade. Silver, Kamal, Dan, Yas, Quad, and Gary also bought calls on silver. The $20 call, October 20th, 25.26. Silver's getting hammered today. It is down 7.98% today. We got the 520 cross under. Twitter, Johan, David, and Yas. Twitter's not doing too badly considering. I was going to buy this, but the reason I didn't buy it was because I already had some tech positions, and that's why I decided not to buy it. It is down 0.92% today. So Johan, David, and Yas are down a little on the trade, but not too bad considering what the market's been doing. SO, Carol bought SO at 51.76, double bottom, bullish divergence, V1 false breakout. It's been a nice trade. Haven't seen Carol for a bit. I don't know if she's still in it, but if she is, it's definitely still profitable. NLC, Evan bought NLC, which is Northrop Grumman, at 340.03. Initially went up nicely, but just plunged today. Lost the 200-day, down 4.52%. IWC, Steve Burns bought IWC with the 1030 crossover at 94.37. This one just puked today, down 4.26% today. It's a bummer. SHLL, Bob bought SHLL at 46.68. This one's green today, up 1.42%, so very nice. Las Vegas, LVS, Las Vegas Sands, Gary bought calls, $50 strike price, November 20th. Bought that back on the 17th, and it is down 5.84% today. So the gaming stocks down pretty hard today. JDX, Yas bought JDX at 58.35. Anything having to do with metals is down big today. Was a nice trade for Yas, up most of the day, but today along with the metals it puked. And last but not least, UGL, Steve Burns did buy UGL at 74.30. He used the GLD 520 crossover as his entry signal. This is well off of its low, but still down 4.28% today. So some good ones, some bad ones, just kind of a mix. It's been a tough market to make money in, but remember, there's some markets where it's not about making money, it's just about conserving your money. I get asked this a lot, are there certain markets you stay out of? I generally don't. I generally trade in any market, but I always make sure I position size for volatility. And so if there's larger volatility, I have smaller position sizes. So, all right. Real quick, before we take a look at the chat and before we get on to the potential watch list for today, I just want to switch gears real quick, talk a little bit about trader psychology, most important skill in trading that you can acquire. Again, you have to learn how to create a plan, support, resistance, indicators, entries, exits, all that kind of stuff. But you learn that so that you can create a plan. But then after you create a plan, that's where the real challenge comes in. That's where the skill comes in of following your plan. So I do like to talk about this because it's such an important part. It's the most important part in trading. Some really good Facebook and Twitter channels out there that post really good information, helpful information. And I've been taking a look at Larry Tantarelli's Blue Chip Daily. He's on Twitter. He's a very, very famous trader, author, educator. And do yourself a favor and check it out. Larry Tantarelli's Blue Chip Daily. Read his posts. They really are good. But let's see what Larry has to say. To improve results considerably doesn't require back testing for weeks on end or spending all weekend looking for the perfect EMA pattern or entry signal, which does not exist. Spend a lot more time on risk management, position management, stop placement, sizing, consistency, and discipline. And I'll tell you what, it's so true, everyone. Look, I spend time back testing. I spend time with my indicators because, those are my signals. Those are what I base my trades on. But, if you're a current student of mine or past student of mine, excuse me, you'll know that I always concentrate on the most important part of trading. First thing always is position size based upon volatility. And I use the value of the 2 ATR to help me decide that. Secondly, most important thing, where's your emergency stop? My gosh, I hit 2 of them today, but I lost exactly what I was willing to lose, and that's the most important part. So everyone wants to talk about entries and exits and how much money you're going to make, but honestly, like Larry says, the most important part is spending time on risk management, position sizing, stop placement, sizing, consistency, and discipline. True words have never been spoken. I'm going to read them one more time. Spend a lot more time on risk management, position management, stop placement, sizing, consistency, and discipline. Put your time there. Learn your entry signals, but concentrate on that volatility, position sizing, stop placement, consistency of following your plan, and the discipline to follow your plan. So thank you very much, Larry. Appreciate that. A really great post. All right. William says, so Frank is a pretty good trader, right? Do I have to learn to be a poet to trade better? Is that the secret? That's good. That's good. Yes, he is a good trader. Chris says, LOL 10680. Right. Frank says, William, we don't trade stocks. We trade patterns, but they don't rhyme all the time. Oh, that's true. Steve Burns says, check out NKLA chart today after the CEO resigned last night. Kamal, you remember what I was telling you about that stock? Not that I want it to be public, but you remember what I was telling you about? Wow, how about that, huh? I guess my buddy was right. Wow, down 19%, almost 20%. Mark says, how do I get the watch list? Well, everybody kind of tends to have their own watch list. Marcus, I did send you the watch list in that document, the Word document that we talked about. That's a good watch list because that's the big major monster stocks, and all of those are back tested well. I mean, I can send you a screenshot later of my watch list here if you'd like. Steve says, Google bounced at the 200-day moving average near a 30 RSI confluence. Yes, it did. That is definitely on my list today. Frank says, Larry's 100% right. Roku is incredible today. It's unbelievable. 6 profit targets I hit today. Unbelievable. And again, I sold half on Friday. Do I wish I did? No, I wish I had not have, but I'm still very happy that I did, that I kept half. That would have been very painful to have sold that and then see that up today. But that happens as well. Okay, let's see. So real quick, before we take a look at anything new, I will be selling Eli Lilly here today with the close below halfway of the washout bar. This is definitely going to be gone. Johnson & Johnson, I already hit my emergency stop, talking about emergency stops. Zynga, 1 profit target, very grateful for that on a day like today. Roku, 6 profit targets. I'm probably going to take this off today. This is such a big bar. I mean, chances are maybe we go up one more big day, but chances are we move sideways for a day. And this just pulled out, which would have been a loss, turned it into a profit. So very likely I'm going to sell Roku today. Intel puts on SPY, overnight SPY trade. We'll be buying that again at the close. Amazon, I did sell puts on Amazon down to 2,300, expiring November 20th. Pretty good premium, I have to tell you. But you know, with the election and everything, but that is profitable. Apple, oh, I have puts on Apple. I didn't discuss that. I have puts on Apple down to 77. I'm sorry, 77.50 on the monthly. You have the 1 ATR channel. We have the previous high as technical support, and we have the 20-month moving average. On the weekly, have the 50-week moving average above me as support, and on the daily on Apple, have the 250-day moving average. So, you know, in this kind of market, I do like to, you know, it's so volatile. That's generally when I switch to selling premium, because the volatility is higher. The premium makes it more worthwhile to sell the premium. I would never sell premium up here because you don't get anything. But here you're starting to get something, and that's why in this kind of market, sometimes you have to change with the markets. Okay. William says, you're right, Frank. Pattern and like maybe Saturn. Yeah, not so good. Yeah, I think it was pretty good. Marcus says, I would like that, Greg. Thanks. Okay, Grub. Grubhub. Yeah, it's a bit of a higher low V1. Did it wash it out enough? Yeah, I guess it did. It has enough volume, 1.66. You know, if I were to take this trade halfway of the washout bar, today's the washout bar. So if I bought this at the end of the day today, Marcus, I would get out with the close below halfway of the washout bar. That would be my stop. I would see how it reacts around the 50 RSI. I would see how it reacts around the 50-day moving average. But it is technically a higher low V1. Let's look at it on the weekly. The weekly, it's holding the 200-day, which is good. So yeah, it's not bad, and it's up today, so it's showing good relative strength. All right, so we're going to be looking at some of the big monster stocks today. When we have such a huge down market like this, I like to concentrate on the best stocks in the world, the big monster stocks, instead of kind of looking at little stocks. I look at little stocks when everything else is too high, but you know, now we are starting to get some of the big best companies in the world on sale. Amazon, we have rejected the 100-day moving average. On the flip side, we have also rejected the third ATR channel above us. We did not get below 30 RSI today. I'm going to wait. I don't know if I completely trust this day. We certainly could move it down again tomorrow. I'm going to wait till we get a clear big rejection of the 100-day moving average and back up if I was going to take a directional trade on Amazon. I sold puts, but again, I have 20 whatever percent protection, which makes it a little bit different. Facebook, I like better than Amazon. It did go underneath the third and over the third ATR channel. It got as low as 34.39. But again, I am going to wait for a little bit better setup with a clear rejection of the 30, maybe a V1, clear big move over the 100-day moving average. This does not have to be the bottom. You know, the 30 RSI, 100-day moving average convergence is an important one, and this could go running right up from here. But again, I have puts on Amazon, I have puts on Apple, I have puts on Intel. Right, so I'm not in a rush to get into any directional moves right now unless I get a clear signal, and I don't think we've got it there yet. Okay, here's what Steve was talking about. Google did bounce off the 200-day moving average. This is a good back-tested approach. Let's see how low we got. We got about 32.21, Steve, on the RSI. So you had a low 30s confluence with the 200-day moving average. Not bad. I mean, it gives you a pretty good risk to reward ratio, and you could have a big bounce, but same with what I just mentioned with the other big stocks. I am going to wait and see if we get a clear rejection of the 200-day moving average, a clear rejection of the 30 RSI. We definitely could have follow through tomorrow to the downside. Maybe, maybe not. But again, I have puts on Amazon, Apple, and Intel, so I don't want to increase my exposure with the directional trade. Actually taking a position, not puts, unless I get a really clear signal that I feel really good about. But pretty good risk to reward, but we certainly could continue down strong tomorrow, right? Just want everybody to make sure they're aware of that. Russell 2000, wow, down 3.8%. I was going through charts this weekend, and the reason I have this line here at 145, look at the confluence here. 100-day moving average, 200-day moving average, and the negative third ATR channel. This jumped right off the screen at me. This looks like a decent place to buy, but not today, right? Going through charts, looking at charts and saying, Marcus and I were talking about this, looking at this and going, boy, this is a great confluence if it comes here. It's not there, but I'm going to keep my eye on that in the future, right? No three strikes rule in stock market. In baseball, there's a three strikes rule. You can't wait for the perfect pitch. Otherwise, you get thrown out. In the stock market, you can't just wait until everything lines up perfectly. I'm going to wait on the Russell till we get down here to about the 145 mark with this negative third ATR channel, 200-day moving average, and one ascending 100-day moving average. Here, it would also test this previous low over here. Netflix. Well, this is a little bit more what I'm talking about. I mean, looks like, let's see, close 470.20, close. No. 470.20, close 469.96. So this technically is a V2 back in the value zone on Netflix. I mean, I like this one better than Amazon, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. One, because we're up, and one, we had a clear rejection of the 100-day moving average and false breakout to the downside, and it's up 3% today. I'm not going to take this, but it's decent. If I were to take this, I would get out with the close below halfway of the washout bar. But that's probably my favorite one so far. But if I did take this, I would get out right there. Friday was the washout bar. I would get out with the close below there. That would be my initial stop with a close below halfway of Friday's washout bar. Walmart, my students will know, and you hear me discuss it here, this is shaping up to be a pretty nice return to value. We were way over the value zone. We came back down into the value zone, and we've had a bunch of sideways motion. This is the setup. The setup is correct. But before I can take the setup, I need a trigger, and there is no trigger yet. But the return to value, back in the value zone, nice sideways motion. I would just need a spike down, reversal back up, and that would be a perfect example of a return to value with the V1 or a V2. LEDS, Semi-Leads Corporation. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that we went way up and reversed way back down, so nothing interesting for me there. Applied Materials, it is a false breakout to the downside with a V1 and a bullish engulfing bar. Has the 200-day moving average above it as potential resistance. I think I'd probably take Netflix over this one because of that 200 sitting right there. Oh, Amadeus. This is only 70,000 shares, so I'm going to take that one off. GoDaddy, huh? V1, false breakouts to the downside, rejection of the third ATR channel, probably a rejection of the 30 RSI, maybe. Yes, yeah. Under 30, over 30, bullish engulfing bar, rejection of the third ATR channel. Looks like it's closing over the 5-day EMA. That looks like a good sign. Hasn't done that for a long time. You know, stop would be down here with the close under the 200. Seems a little chasey to me here. That's my take on it. JD. False breakouts to the downside and a V1. This isn't bad. It is 51.97. It would have to stay over the 50 RSI for me to be able to take this 6.3 million shares. But, you know, we did come into the value zone. We made a lower high, but today we washed out that previous low and triggered a V1. So this one's, you know, that one's not too bad, to be honest with you. That one's not too bad, but it would have to close over the 50 RSI. It's probably one of the better ones there. Cyber software, only 111,000 shares, so not enough. Q's, rejection of the third ATR channel, which is good, not quite a V1. But well off its lows. You can see 92% of prices reject the third ATR channel, 92% of prices reject the negative third ATR channel. It's exactly where it bounced. It's exactly where it bounced. I think I'm going to wait for a higher low V1 or V2 or a 520 crossover to get me back in Qs. But again, I'm being tentative today because I did sell puts on Amazon, and that's such a big position. Splunk. Looks like it's an over 30, under 30, over 30, over the negative third ATR channel. Let's look over here. Rejected the negative third ATR channel, or the negative 1 ATR channel on the weekly. One's not bad. Gives you a pretty good risk to reward ratio. DOCU, DocuSign, big up move today, but this looks pretty range bound to me. Intuit, V1, rejection of the negative third ATR channel. Yesterday we had a really big bar with that third ATR, or the 50-day moving average above that. I don't like that. And Chug, nice false breakout to the downside. With the V2. It's a 44.60 RSI. We have the 100-day moving average right there. On the weekly, we are in the value zone with 2 days sideways motion. Now, this one looks pretty good, especially on a weekly trade. Especially on a weekly trade, because we're above the value zone. We come into the value zone, 2 weeks moving sideways and a V2. That's not bad. That's really not bad. But I would take this on the weekly, not the daily. On the daily, it's a little chasey. On the weekly, you're going to buy fewer shares, and you have a lot more room on the weekly time frame up to the 1 ATR channel. So all right. You know, Exxon's another one I'm looking at here with an under 30, over 30, false breakout to the downside on the weekly, on the daily. On the week, I think we also went under 30. Let's take a look. No, we didn't. We didn't. Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I'm kind of interested in Exxon. As a matter of fact, I manage an account where we've been talking about this, but you know, Exxon is doing an under 30, over 30, which is interesting. Okay, so the potentials today are JD.com, false breakout to the downside with a V1, I think I'm going to pass on this one. SPLK. I think I'm also going to pass on this one. I don't think I'm going to take any positions today at all. And again, that not that JD and SPLK are not valid. They are valid. Google seems valid, but I'm just going to wait for some more confirmation again because I bought the Amazon push, and that's a big position. So I'm not in a hurry to get in anything else. All right, let me just sell Lily here and take that loss on Lily. So Lily is gone. Johnson & Johnson already hit the emergency stop. Roku, I'm going to just take this off. This is such a huge, big day. If it keeps going up, great. But I'm going to just take it off and be glad that I snuck out of there with the nice profit on this trade. And 6 profit targets. All right, so my Roku is gone. I will be buying the SPY at the end of the day. My Zynga is doing good. 1 profit target there. My Amazon puts are doing really, really well. Nicely in the money at the moment. My Apple puts are doing well. And yeah. So I'm set. I'm out of Lily. I sold Roku. Have the new Amazon put position. Have the Apple positions. And that's about it. All right. Hey, Steve's on Google. Good, good, good. All right. Steve says, I exited UGL for a 5.17 loss on the GLD 520 cross under signal. Yeah, metals were tough today, huh, Steve? Dave said, Greg, for some reason, my third ATR channel looks very different to yours in Facebook. Can you remind me of your setting? So on my third ATR channels, I use a 20 SMA. I think most platforms use an EMA instead of an SMA for their Keltner channels. But it's fine. Whatever's working, I mean, use what you have. I imagine that's the difference. So that's, in my experience, that's been the main difference. Steve says, I'm long Google 1421. All right. With the under 200, over 200, 31 RSI intraday bounce. Sounds good. Steve said, VIX rejected back under 200. Frank says, walking down Main Street in Westport yesterday, I counted 21 store vacancies. Small business hurting. That's too bad, huh, Frank? Steve says it's bad everywhere. I exited BABA at 132 with a 520 cross under. Quad Racer, hey buddy, good to see you. Good afternoon. Frank says I was stopped out of IAU at the open. Okay, I'll try to get these all correct at the end of the day. Wow, Amazon looks like it might go positive, which is going to be fantastic for my puts. Hey, looks like we're going green on the day. That's amazing. Not on the indexes, but Apple's going green, Amazon's going green. Intel's only down 28 cents. I'll be buying the SPY. So all I'm doing today is buying the SPY. So any of you with any new signals today, hope they do really well for you. All right, so Steve bought Google at 1421. It is now 1429, 1430. Can I get 1435? Well, 1430 is about where it wants to stay right now. Man, I'll tell you what, I like Exxon. I'm not going to buy it, but I do like Exxon with the false breakout, the downside, the under 30, over 30. And then if we switch back over to the weekly, we have support of that. We have support of that -2 ATR. I'm not going to buy it here, but I like that it had the confluence of the -3rd ATR channel and the 30 RSI all at the same time and a false breakout. So we have a minute and a half left. Boy, the NASDAQ could go positive. That'd be something, wouldn't it? Amazon's turned green. Fantastic. All right. So again, I am at a Lilly, and I will be buying SPY at the close. Apple's making a new high on the day, which is great. Sorry, I'm having to make some trades over here in an account that I manage. Okay. The markets are closed. Wow, what a day. Where did we end up? Down 510 points. All right, well, better than 900 on the Dow, eh? All right, so listen, if you have changes, new entries today for me, please go ahead, put them in the chat. I will get them all taken care of. Then before we do that, just real quick, I just want to remind everybody that I do offer private one-on-one teaching and coaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach. I've been trading for over 24 years. I have studied one-on-one extensively with some great traders, great authors out there. Stephen Burns, Dr. Alexander Elder, Kerry Lavorne, Larry Williams, and I do teach a course where in the course I incorporate everything I've learned from my 4 teachers and mentors into that course, and that's what I teach. And if you take the course, you should be able to trade in any market, whether we have deep dip buys or crossovers or higher low V1s, V2s, return to value V1s, V2s, double bottoms, bullish divergences. I teach you all about how to position size correctly based upon volatility, setting your emergency stops, end of day stops, intermediate term profit targets, ultimate profit targets, an entire plan. Right? I mean, that's what I teach, is the entire plan. And you need to have a comprehensive plan so that you know what you're going to do. Whatever the market does, you know what you're going to do. If it does this, you're going to do that. If it does that, you're going to do this. And that's the important part of trading, is coming up with a complete plan. And that's what I teach. So if you're interested in taking my course, this is a good time. I just finished up with a bunch of students, so I do have openings. But if you're interested, you can just reach out to me through my email. My email is in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. And if you do reach out to me, I'll reply, say, how's it going? Let's set up a Skype call. Skype call's free, no obligation. I'm not going to ask you if you want to take the course. I just want to learn more about you, about your trading, about your goals. Then it's a good time for you to ask me questions about the course. And then when we're done, I'll say, hey, it was really nice talking to you. Think about it. If you decide you want to take the course, you can just email me back and we'll set it up. And then if you like today's podcast, I would appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. Help us build the channel, helps keep the channel around, and lets YouTube and I guess YouTube know that there's something valuable in the channel. So if you liked it, please take a half a second before you click out of here. I would really appreciate that. Okay, let's take a look. So the only thing I bought today, well, I sold puts on Amazon, but I did buy SPY at 326.97. All right, so I am at a Lily. I'm going to put this over here. And I did buy SPY today after that horrible overnight SPY trade. I bought SPY at 326.97. Okay. Man, this hour goes fast. I'll tell you what. I could use 2 hours to do this. I always feel like I have to race through everything so much. All right. And I did sell Roku. Wow. Unbelievable. I am definitely grateful for that big boy right there. All right. So let's go through here and see who did what. Okay, Steve got stopped out at AGQ, so we'll take Steve off. Brian had a trade on Netflix, but he was in and out. Okay, Steve is out of UGL. Got stopped out of that, but well off of its lows, so that's at least something. Google. Steve entered Google at where? 14.2186. Good risk to reward ratio there, good confluence of signals. Exited BABA with the cross under. Okay. I got you taken care of there, Steve. that's not the right stock. Because that's the wrong key, that's why, Greg. All right, so Glenn has some new positions. All right, so we have Glenn. We have Glenn on PayPal. Nice big bounce there. Netflix. Okay, Glenn. Oh, Alibaba. You know, that's how it goes. Steve got out of Alibaba and Glenn got in Alibaba. But doesn't mean one's right and one's wrong. It's just that following their trading plan. Yeah, I do kind of like Alibaba with that false breakout in the V1, that's for sure. But Steve had the cross under, which was his signal. So, you know, it can be valid to get in or out. It just depends where you originally got in and where you're getting in new. And Amazon. All right, good luck on those, Glenn. Those all look good. Hope we get some follow through tomorrow. Stay-at-home stocks back in the driver's seat. Chris is out of Apple with the $27,900 gain. Wow, Chris, fantastic. That is amazing. That is amazing. Somebody was asking me about your trade last week that listened to the podcast. It's like, did he really buy 9,000 shares? And I said, I think he did. That's what he said. All right, so Kamal is out of silver and in JD. Yeah, I did kind of like that JD trade. All right, good luck there, Kamal. Greg says, hey, Greg and group, out of AGQ. Okay. Yeah, that got hit hard today, boy, didn't it, Gary? Dang. Only saving grace is, you know, when the price closes below both the 5 and the 20 or the 10 and the 50, whatever I'm using as my crossover trade, I got out of half. So you can imagine how glad, not happy that this happened today, but it was only half of it. So that's a good example of why that approach sometimes is a really good move. All right. And Gary M is in the Goog. Evan is out of NLC. Yeah, I don't blame you. I do not blame you at all. And also in JD. We have Gary M and Evan M. Johan is out of J&J. Yep. Yeah, that one was a bummer. But it was a good setup. I take that setup on Friday every single time that happened. All right. Dan is out of silver and gold. Yas exited silver on Friday. Oh, good for you, Yas. Thank God I did. Yes. Out of Lily. Okay, so that takes care of Lily. Boy, what a day. Boy, it has just been volatile, volatile, volatile. But good to see that we did rally into the close. That is helpful. Yas is out of Lily. All right. Jackson is here, our friend from Australia, my former student from Australia. We chat and keep in touch. Good to see you. Early morning for Jackson, but nice to see you again, Jackson. And thanks for the kind words about Katie from you and Flo. All right, we have David with Google. Yeah, I very likely would have taken that trade today if I didn't have the Amazon position. Okay. Oh, and Frank mentioned to me. What did Frank mention to me? That he got out of something. IAU at the open. Okay. All right. Well, interesting day. I'll tell you what, big comeback, but I'm very grateful that I was in Roku today. I mean, you're not going to see me have a lot of 17, 18% moves, but I guess today was the day that I got it. Jackson says, "You're welcome, sir. Caught the back end of your podcast about 14 days until our daylight savings align with my waking up habits." Yeah, I look forward to doing that Skype call, bud, as soon as you're back in the right sleep cycle time frame. Frank says, GE is getting out of coal power. Ah, interesting. We looked at GE the other day, and it was actually up. Let's take a little look-see. Oh, dang. You know, I always talk about keeping your garden free of weeds, or in other words, keeping your group of portfolio free of losses. You know, whenever you start having reds show up in your garden, get rid of them. Keep the greens, get rid of the reds, right? Otherwise, it's going to overtake your garden. But, you know, the other thing I've really never talked about is, I mean, I've talked about it, but, you know, I like to phase out of my positions as they go up. But even with the garden, you know, at some time you have to harvest from the garden, right? There's two things. It's one, keeping the losses out. But there's a time when your vegetables or your flowers grow really nice and big, you have to harvest them as well. You just can't keep them forever. I guess you can if it's a long-term trade. It's something like Apple, but from a trade perspective, you know, there are certain times to harvest and take them out of the garden as well, because if you don't, well, then they can get rotten, go back to earth, right? And that's why this just kind of reminded me, whenever I have moves up near this third ATR channel, I kind of start to harvest. I start taking profits, or I start locking in profits or getting out of the positions when I get up to like a confluence near a 70 in a third ATR channel. So remember, yes, you have to keep your garden free of weeds, everybody, but you know, on the other hand, when you're in the money, you can't, at some point you have to take some profits or take some off the table and harvest a little bit of your bounty. Hope that makes sense. Bob says, I was grateful I was in CLSK today. CLSK. Clean Spark. Oh, wow, Bob. Oh, man, Bob just made my Roku look like a little nothing. Good for you. Wow. When did you buy that, Bob? Jackson says, sometimes a time stop is good too. Quantifiable mathematically. That's right. You know, we talk about time stops. You know, when I have a V1 or a V2, if it doesn't take off after 2 or 3 days, you know, back tests show that it's probably not going to do very well. Those V1s, V2s should take off within a day or two. If they don't, then it's a bit of a red flag. That's why you'll see me if I have a V1 or a V2 after about 3 days. If it hasn't done anything, that's a bad sign. Look at this, Clean Spark up 28.48%, 15 million shares traded. I don't even know what they do, but Bob, you got in at 950? Well, let's get you on here. Let's get you on here for sure. Well, you couldn't have bought it today, so I don't know, over here, higher low V1 or V2. I'm not exactly sure if that was the day, but wow, Bob, proud of you, man. On a day like today, holy camole. Jackson says, no use fluffing around the weeds. That's right. Oh, you got out at 1480. All right. Well, I'm going to take you right back off then. Beautiful trade, Bob. Jackson says, Greg, just to check, can you put up Australian Stock Exchange? Can you, APT? I don't think I can. Here's APT, Alpha Pro Tech. Is that the one we're looking at? I don't think it is, because that's a US stock. Afterpay. Yeah, my charting does not let me bring up Australian charts. Why, did you have a good trade, Jackson? So Apple's up 5 cents after hours. Amazon's is up $6. That's good. Google's up 386, so that's good. Q's up 72 cents. That's great. Two weeks, 27%. Look at these moves people are having. This is unbelievable. You know, when we have this, if we had a pull back into the value zone on the indexes, like we kind of did here, I was looking for some kind of directional entry. But now that we're pulling back away from the 50, I really don't know if this is going to go up or if we're going to go lower to find some support lower at like another moving average below. And that's why when we have a big sell-off, I'm less inclined to take directional trades as I am to sell puts or sell bullish credit spreads or sell bearish credit spreads, because it gives me more, I have more protection. I don't have to be as precise. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. Bob says, thanks, Frank. Yeah, that's outstanding. So speaking of that, I do have a directional trade here on ZNGA. Zynga did hit the one profit. I still have Gary and Quad and Yas. Looks like we're in there. Intel puts. Sold puts down to $45. SPY. Had the overnight SPY trade. Different type of trade. Amazon. Again, I sold puts down to $2,300. Oh, and I have Apple too. Can't forget about Apple's puts down at $77.50. So if it does get down there, I'm required to buy it there. If it doesn't get down there, I get to keep the premium, which was pretty good. Not as good as Amazon's premium. The more a market goes down, the more you sell puts, the more volatility, the more premium you're going to get to take on that risk. But again, you know, when you do sell puts or you sell credit spreads, you get a lot of protection. And currently on Amazon, that's giving me about 22% protection to my strike price. And again, that strike price lines up on some nice moving averages on multiple time frames. Okay, well listen, thank you all for coming today. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Please go out and try to do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile, a wave, hello, help people move a semi-truck like Frank. That was awesome, right? But seriously, if we could just go out and do one nice, kind little gesture or kindness for one human every day would be fantastic. And it would be twice as good if we could also do one little nice kindness every day for an animal. Whatever kind of animal it is, just give them a little pet or a little hug, take them on a walk, give them a little treat, throw the ball, something. They really appreciate it. So, wow, what a day. What a day. All right, I guess I'm going to go hike. So have a good rest of your day. Be good, be safe. I hope to see you tomorrow during the last hour of the market. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Bye now. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity.